I am Thembi Malau. I'm the director at the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture in the branch that is called Heritage Promotion and Preservation. When the president of the country pronounced that we were going into the lockdown and that the whole world is now faced with this pandemic, which had serious implications on employment. We then saw that as an opportunity to get young people, and because that was the brief that we got from the Presidential Employment Stimulus Package, to get young people employed.
They called me Gomi. I was the project executive, so the project manager, supported by the internal project task team. The presidency put up a package to improve the economic and employ people, so to speak. And so for us, where we came in as Sahra, we identified with the Department of Arts and Culture a project that we needed done, and where we can then hire the youth as our target for the time frame of that project, let them work within the project, and so promote, they would be employed. And ourselves, we would then get the project deliverables. So that is PESP in brief.
Together with Sahra, and obviously Sahra being mandated by its legislation to conduct a national audit of its monuments, its statues, its memorials. It was a program that happened over 6 months or so. We had to hit the ground running. It had, I think, long-term successes for the sector and even for the young people that took part in that program.
My name is Lungisa Malgas. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of South African Heritage Resources Agency. When we were approached by our Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, to see how best can the entities as well as the government at large to assist with creating jobs opportunities for our youth, as well as other people who have lost their jobs. We were one of the few entities that were identified for the Presidential Employment Stimulus Package. We needed the audit trail. We needed to have the inventory of these memorials, monuments, and statues in the country. So that's how the project was conceived in a nutshell.
My name is Clinton Jackson. I'm the manager of the National Inventory Unit here at Sahra. I was part of the project team at Sahra. Specifically, I was responsible for the coordination of data and data collection mechanisms. This project was massively successful in both its goals as an employment project as well as a recording project for monuments and memorials. Ultimately, over 260 people benefited from this project, which provided them short-term employment in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. And furthermore, it also introduced those beneficiaries to heritage management and heritage as a concept within the country. And then in terms of the ultimate goal of the project, which was the recording of monuments and memorials, it was very successful in that regard. With ultimately over 1,100 monuments and memorials being recorded and added to the inventory of heritage resources in the country. It was a very good team to work with. Everyone worked very well together to try and get things done that needed to be done. For example, I worked quite well with our ICT, as well as the other areas such as human resources, in order to get all of our staffing requirements done. So we worked very well as a team. It was a heavy load, but we managed to get through with it.
My name is Jackie Melane. I'm the HR administrator at Sahra. One of my roles was to do the recruitment for the presidential stimulus, and also I was involved in the salaries where I used to pay them. The initial stage where it started was in July in 2020. And it was very strenuous because we had to recruit, we had to broadcast it, and all of that was done. Even though it was a stimulus project and it was more of a field work than anything, but we had to employ staff that will be in Sahra. And we didn't have that much of a space to cater for about 40 people. So it was amazing with what the managers were willing to give, because some of them who could work from home were working from home in order to accommodate those candidates that are at Sahra. So that was the best part about the project. It is the fact that everyone was willing to assist so that the project moves.
When it was time for them to be in the office on the 4th of January, it was very hectic, simply because people, they didn't have too much information about the project. So we have to explain the project, and we're working with 9 different provinces and different cultures of people as well.
The research that we're doing, we're checking the significance of each statue and the type of statue and everything that involves the statue, like what the significance of it in South Africa and what does it contain, what does the statue contain as a whole, and the cost of the statue. So that's what I was really doing. I was doing research on the monuments and statues and memorials.
Worked as a legal officer. I learned quite a lot because I had to accustom myself with the Act, Sahra Act and Finance Act, because if you have to deal with legal matters at Sahra, you have to be aware of the Act in order to be able to handle legal matters regarding the heritage sites and everything that Sahra stands for.
The project first, when we started we didn't really realize that it was a big project, that huge project, because we were to employ 265 candidates within the provinces. Then they were all divided within the provinces, all the provinces in South Africa. What we needed the cell phones for the candidates to actually be able to perform that. The candidates also needed to have data to be able, when they have collected all the information, that they can actually be able to send it through to the coordinators for the approval. Some of the candidates were based on the offices, so they would need computers, so that when the ones that are on the field get the information, then they can actually send it to those that are within the offices. And then the offices, we had researchers and also admins. So also if the site is already existing on SARIS, and then they will do those comparison and then approve the site. So things like that were needed to be procured before the project could commence.
My name is Winnie Sinomadi. I stay in Pretoria West. I am doing my master's at the University of Pretoria. So I found out about the stimulus program via Career Junction. So I have a profile there because I am an active job seeker. So I got a pop-up on my email that Sahra is hiring for the stimulus program, and then I applied for it, and luckily I got in. So when I was a coordinator for Sahra, what I was doing mostly was more of remote work. So I was coordinating the whole program for Gauteng alongside Tsolofelo. So we were basically doing work schedules. We were communicating with the field workers. We were making sure that they are on the field, and if there are any problems on the field, then we communicate with them as well as the people from the Cape Town office. I was helping with distributing letters, like permit letters to access sites, as well as communicating with the Cape Town people, which is Clinton and Tuliswa, based on our deliverables, basically, yeah.
As a professional coordinator, I had to organize transport provincially for all the field workers for the project. I had to also ask permission to pre-arrange for them to be given permission whenever they would be visiting those sites, whether on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. My role was also to, whenever the field workers would experience challenges, whether on site or whether on the district offices that they were based in, I had to intervene. Also, my role was to compile weekly reports for the whole province, and I would submit those weekly reports to the Sahra offices in Cape Town.
I started off as a field worker. I later on became an administrator for the Eastern Cape. We were capturing and recording data on memorials, monuments and statues. The biggest thing, I learned more about heritage. At first, my knowledge of heritage was cultural attire, cultural food that we have every day. But Sahra has opened the door for new insight in terms of heritage. I didn't know that our history as South Africans is that rich, and it is our heritage. I didn't know that it needs to be preserved and protected. So that was the biggest thing that I learned throughout the program. Also, I've learned about the importance of these monuments, the importance of the statues, what they mean to the society. Because if we are to talk about heritage, basically heritage is a selection of what the society considers important. It's about history events, but not all history events are a legacy, or not all history events are heritage, but there are those important moments that you know that this is our legacy, this is our history, and this needs to be captured, and it is needed for future generations.
But of course, running a project of this nature within the context of a global pandemic with COVID-19, it made it very challenging to effectively engage in face-to-face training, address issues as they occur as well. So these are the kinds of things that would definitely need to be worked on going forward in the future. But how we generally operated throughout the project was to be a bit flexible in our approach. To try and, if there were issues encountered, find ways of addressing those issues as quickly as possible in order to get to the problem or address them as they cropped up, really.
To be honest, it was an amazing experience for me. Yes, I am from the Heritage and Cultural Studies field, but this was an opportunity for me to be on the field and do practical work. So for me, I felt like it was a great opportunity for me to venture into the field and learn more about heritage, learn more about the museums, the monuments, and the mandate of the program, you know. So for me, it was also about getting to know people, getting to know what South Africa has to offer for us, as well as being able to work as a coordinator, you know, through teamwork, through learning and acquiring all these skills to be a better person and a team player. I learned a lot of interpersonal skills as well as skills to function in an organization or in a group of people, yeah.
But it's been mind-blowing and mind-changing, if I were to say so. You know, I've learned about the unsung heroes in our province. You see that they've played a huge role in the political landscape, in the religious landscape, also in the academic landscape. Unsung heroes that haven't been given enough recognition that they deserve.
I think there should be outreaches, seminars to educate the society, the people. It must be done in schools. It must be done in communities so that the people will be able to preserve and protect our heritage. They are not doing so because they don't understand. So I think with understanding, they can be able to do better, and you know, it would help for them to be educated in heritage.
Some of these young people, one, they've never been on a plane. Number two, they don't know where Cape Town is. And yet they've worked with Sahra. Let's give them that opportunity of particularly the coordinators, of receiving the certificates on behalf of their team, and they would be able to present them to their team.
The experience of Cape Town, the Closeout program, it's one of those events, one of those memorable events, you see.
Yo, guys, the journey to Cape Town was the best of the best for me.
Going to Cape Town was a dream come true. It was such a huge achievement.
Believe it or not, I've never been on a plane before, and Sahra gave me the opportunity to fly for the first time. And when I was up there in the air, guys, I could see clouds and it was just so beautiful. Like, I wanted to even cry.
Everything was nice, guys. I had a chauffeur that picked me up at home and dropped me off at the airport, and when I arrived in Cape Town, I had another one to take me to the hotel, and the hotel was very nice and comfortable.
The reception, you can tell it was just another level. It was like the kings and queens are coming to Cape Town, the way it was being prepared, you see.
Now, Sahra was like, here is an opportunity for you to come see us here in Cape Town to have this closing ceremony, you know.
When it was time for presentations, I was so scared, and I was like intimidated by other people who came from other provinces. But I was there, I showed up, I tried my best, and yeah, it was a great experience all in all.
And also another thing that just topped everything up was Sahra adding an extra day on, you know, the trip, because we were there only for a day, and then they were like, no guys, we're actually gonna make it 2 days, and we're like, yes, this is the best ever, because we got to move around Cape Town, we get to visit the museum, we got to go to Long Street to have some fun, you know, meet new people. Like, it was amazing. Those 268 young people benefited. They appreciated their heritage a lot more. One of them, I think from the Free State, said that from the money they earned out of this project, they were able to pay for their fees so they can continue with their studies. So you see the long-term investment in themselves. And so for someone who might have been stuck at home not knowing what to do, they got the opportunity to rethink what they wanted to do. And so really, really proud.
among themselves, they formulated a network of friendship that hopefully will benefit them through life. And so that you can't ask for anything more.
The pride, the sense of pride that they've shown as they were talking, it made me feel so proud of what we have done, not only as an entity, but as a country.
Recipients of this project, my hope really is that they all find gainful employment. Hopefully it's within the heritage sector, but even within other areas, that the experience they gained will put them in good stead to gain formal and hopefully permanent employment as well.
It really breaks my heart. I wish we could have done more, but with the little that we have, we've managed to employ some.